I'm honestly, I'm scared to be talking about this stuff. I put these videos out and then I go to bed at night and I lie there thinking, oh my God, what did I do? Because I know how some people are going to think I'm crazy. I think it's really funny that people can openly claim really weird beliefs as long as they subscribe to a major religion. So they can believe that a guy made food out of nothing, or turned water into wine, or parted the seas and, brought people back to life, and all kinds of weird stuff that people believe every day and are open about it. But as long as it falls under a specific label that society already accepts, that we deem as acceptable because it's a major religion, that's okay. But if you don't fall under that label and you kind of take your beliefs to a little bit of a broader spectrum, or you start to question the prescribed religions, then it's not okay anymore. But putting these videos up and getting so many comments and likes and views, it's very clear to me that there is very, very, very high interest in this topic, and it's not even really representative of when you go out into the world. You go to the shopping center, you go to the coffee shops or whatever, and you bump into people and you talk about things. I'm sure other people are hiding it just as well, because otherwise we'd be having a lot more interesting conversations. And I think it's pretty obvious why. Because there's such a stigma against believing things like what I believe and what many of you watching this believe. That stigma makes it uncomfortable for people to talk about this openly, because they could lose friends, they could be shut out by their family, they could lose their job, they could become unhireable. And it's dangerous for some people. But there's also another way to look at it. You might lose friends who don't accept you the way you are and don't accept you for your beliefs. But when you become more authentic with who you are and what you believe, you'll end up making new friends who do align with what you believe. And then it'll be more fun, because you'll actually be able to be yourself with your friends. The conversations will be more interesting and you'll have more in common. In terms of losing work or losing, not being able to be hireable anymore because people are going to think you're crazy. I think that it obviously depends on what industry you work in. And I think that the industries that are the most resistant to people who believe this kind of stuff openly are probably not an industry that's very conducive to your growth. So if you're on this path, if you've come to a point where you kind of have to choose, or you're feeling some weirdness about not being true to yourself versus keeping your job, or if you're being true to yourself versus keeping your job, maybe it's time you take a look at whether or not you should be leaving that domain, leaving that industry, and moving on to something else, something that's more in alignment with who you are and where you're going. And maybe you want to work for yourself. That's always good. You're not going to fire yourself. One of the things that I feel is very, very important in everybody or more people opening up about this stuff is that we're starting to normalize it. It's not going to be weird anymore. It's going to be like, that's what a lot of people believe now, and they can't judge you for it anymore because the person to the right and the person to the left also believes it. I hope this becomes a trend, that people start talking about their personal experience with their own spirituality or their new age beliefs, and how they feel like they've been hiding in the closet, because many of us do. Many of us talk about this stuff only when with people that we know are on the same page as us, and a lot of the time we hide it from our friends and families for good reason. You know, it does parallel a little bit with being in the closet if you're gay, or you know, all kinds of other things that are reminiscent of who you really are, that you hide from the world because you're afraid of judgment from them. I'm putting these videos up, and then I you know, open another browser when I'm like bored, and I'm watching H3 videos where they're doing reaction videos to other people's videos, and you know, a lot of the time well deserving of the criticism. But I could see what's gonna happen one day when someone just like sees one of my videos where I'm talking about aliens, and they just take that and then they mash it up, and they're just spend 10 minutes of their own video calling me crazy. But oh well, so what? Just because somebody calls you crazy, or somebody calls you stupid, or somebody calls you whatever the hell they want to call you, doesn't make it true. They're just calling you that. So I'm cool with it. But it's a scary thing. And yeah, you could lose your friends, you could lose your job, you can lose, you know, your ability to obtain work in the future. But if you're moving towards the kind of world that we want to live in, then you want to have friends who like you for you. You want to have friends who believe a lot of the same things as you. And you want to have a job or career or business or whatever that's reflective of your beliefs. You want a career that is open to having people who believe this stuff, and let people believe what they want to believe as long as they're not hurting anyone doing it. And you want to maybe do something in an industry that's going to be helping and not hindering the planet, and helping people and not hurting people. I don't want to encourage anyone that's going to do anything that's going to hurt them or hurt their livelihood or the people around them. But anybody who feels like they probably should be doing this, I would encourage you also to be making a video like this as well. And maybe we could start a trend and get everybody talking openly about this stuff, and making people feel more comfortable about their own beliefs and about being open about it. So basically, about 6, 7, 8 months ago, whatever it was, when I started getting more serious about YouTube, something was telling me that I needed to be more authentic and talk about this stuff, be who I really am, like what I'm doing with you right now. And if you go look at my earlier videos, you can see that I was still resistant to it, that I was trying to be more produced and less real, less just like let's chat kind of thing. And at the time, that's the best I could do. I wasn't ready. And you know, fast forward several months later, things happened in my life that made it really obvious that this was the thing that I needed to do. And part of it was, I think a large catalyst was to do with the QHHT session, possibly partly due to the fact that my grandmother died and all the events surrounding that. But then shortly after that, I did the QHHT session, and in the session, it did bring me some clarity around this, and it, you know, it was telling me like people want to hear the truth, people want authenticity, people want, you know, all the stuff that I said in the other video about being yourself. And I took that as an invitation to just be myself, because I really don't like it when I'm fake. I don't like pretending that I'm something I'm not. And there are many different layers to who I am, as I'm sure you feel the same. Like, depends on the mood I'm in, depends on the situation I'm in, the environment, who's around me. Sometimes I'll be talking very like chill, like I'm talking with you right now, and sometimes I'll be like really hyperactive and making a scene. And it just depends on all kinds of factors. But at the very least, I want to be real in however I feel in that moment, or the most I can be. So I just like held my breath and went in, because I was partly afraid of what I want to say friends, but it's really like people you have on your Facebook. The majority of people that I have on my Facebook are acquaintances. They're not actually friends. Some I know more than others, but the majority of the hundreds of people that I have on my Facebook don't care about me. And frankly, I don't really care about them like I do as empathetically as a human, but if we cared about each other more, we would call each other and we would actually have a relationship. We'd actually, try to see each other. And there's just too many people on the planet and not enough time to really have that kind of relationship with everyone. So whatever I believe or whatever they believe isn't really the end of the world, doesn't really affect my life. And so what I believe shouldn't really affect their life. And if they're going to take it upon themselves to judge me for it, then that's their problem. It's not my problem. It would be my problem if they were an influence on my life, but they're not, so it doesn't matter. Who is an influence on my life would be close friends or family. And yeah, part of me was afraid that especially my family would have a problem with this, because my close friends, they get that I'm weird. They've always known, and a lot of them are starting to wake up anyways, slowly but surely, and they accept me the way I am. But family doesn't always accept you the way you are, and they don't always have to, but ideally I'd rather not have drama. So if I can avoid the drama, that would be best. And so I just held my breath. Like I said, I held my breath and I jumped in and I started posting these videos, and I just didn't tell anyone in my family that I was posting. And I have my fingers crossed that I don't get disowned. I don't really care. Point is, it was more important to me to be real with myself and with everyone, and to be rejected by my family who couldn't accept that this is who I am, than to hide who I am, pretend to be something I'm not, just to get their approval. Couldn't do it. So this is me, and we'll see how it goes. And I encourage anyone who is feeling the same weirdness and pressure to keep their beliefs hidden, to explore possibly being more open and honest and authentic with themselves and with the people around them, because it's worth it in most situations.